Good afternoon. Welcome to the Labor Forum here on WRFG 89.3 FM in Atlanta. My name is Diane Mathowitz. I'm a retired auto worker, co-host of this program for, I think 4.5 years now. It's called How Time Flies. I want to welcome you to the program, and Paul McLennan is here in the studio as well, co-host of the Labor Forum and a retired MARTA worker. Hi, Paul.
Hi, Diane.
So we are happy, of course, to always be here on the program on Mondays, trying to bring to you the latest in labor news, the important issues impacting working people, not just here in the Metro Atlanta area, but across the country and around the world. The views that are expressed on this program may not necessarily be those of the Board of Directors, staff, or volunteers here at WRFG. But this program really goes to the core of why WRFG has been on the air for going on 42 years. And that is that we are an independent voice of communities, as our tagline goes that you hear oftentimes on this station, of all those that are marginalized and kept off of the major broadcast media. And certainly workers' voices rank very high among those that are not heard on the big business bosses media. So we have a formula that we have now started here at on this program, where we start off with labor headlines, then we have Paul giving us This Week in Labor History. We are going to have two guests in the studio starting around 4:15, two of the leaders of the fast food worker movement. And at 4:30 we'll be talking with Marilyn Wynn with Women on the Rise, really the issue relating between people who have been incarcerated in the jails and prisons here in the United States, and then the struggle to get a job. So please do stay tuned for the entire hour. We hope that you are going to find lots of informative news, as well as ways for you to get involved. I do want to let everybody know that the Labor Forum now has its own web page as well, and you can go to www.wrfglaborforum.org and also catch up on all the Labor Forum news. So we'll start now with the labor headlines. One of the most critical issues impacting workers worldwide is the threat and existence of war, which destroys and disrupts every human right that people are entitled to. At present, the U.S. is actively engaged in armed conflicts in Afghanistan, Iraq, Pakistan, Syria, Yemen, and Ukraine, not to mention less publicized interventions in other countries such as the Philippines, Somalia, and elsewhere. Despite the billions spent on these military actions, the U.S. public is little informed of the consequences of these policies of domination and control over other people's land, resources, and labor. For example, this past week, over 300 soldiers of the U.S. 173rd Airborne Brigade arrived in Ukraine to train members of the National Guard of Ukraine, a formation of volunteers and independent militias, including the Azov Battalion, which uses Nazi insignia and promotes fascist ideology. Likewise, Britain is sending 75 trainers and Canada 200 more. The year-long conflict in Ukraine, a former republic of the Soviet Union with a long border with Russia, has killed an estimated 6,116 people. This civil war followed the overthrow of an elected president and the installation of a pro-US, pro-NATO government. The Kiev regime has enacted wage freezes, higher energy costs, raised taxes, and is cutting social services to meet the demands of the IMF and other Western-controlled agencies for bailout loans. The more industrialized, Russian-speaking eastern part of Ukraine disavowed these austerity measures and declared the People's Republics of Donetsk and Lugansk. While the U.S. and NATO played significant roles in the destabilization of Ukraine, their intent to bring this former socialist republic firmly within the capitalist orbit is clearly exposed with the presence of hundreds of U.S. NATO troops on the ground, along with hundreds of millions of dollars of military equipment. Now to a story the Labor Forum has covered firsthand about the efforts of Selma, Alabama auto parts workers to change their unsafe working conditions and join a union, the United Auto Workers. Kim King has worked for 10 years at the Lear Corporation plant, which produces car seats for the nearby Hyundai auto facility in Montgomery, Alabama. She and her fellow workers have developed serious respiratory illnesses and other ailments. They say it is from the chemicals used to make the foam and the failure of the company to provide proper protective gear and adequate ventilation. Kim was on the Labor Forum on March 9th, the day she was suspended from her job after she and a delegation of workers, faith leaders, and community supporters attempted to deliver a letter to the Hyundai headquarters requesting their help in bringing safe working conditions to the supplier's plant. The following Monday, that was March 16th, I think, Kim was again on the Labor Forum to inform our listeners that she had been fired that morning for refusing to recant her statements about the health issues affecting herself and other Lear workers. On March 17th, Lear got a Montgomery County judge to issue a gag order on Kim, preventing her from speaking publicly about conditions in the plant and threatening to sue her for defamation. Just this past week, a federal judge, after hearing testimony from the U.S. Labor Department and OSHA, turned the tables and issued a temporary restraining order on Lear, ordering them to cease any efforts to curtail the workers' rights to address their grievances. They are not to, in the terms of the order, quote, terminate, suspend, harass, sue, or threaten workers who allege safety violations, including Kim King. April 29th is the date for a hearing on a permanent injunction against Lear's anti-worker actions. For additional information, the Facebook page, Who Really Makes Your Car, is a good source. The Labor Forum will attempt to have Kim King on as an upcoming program. And those are our labor headlines for today. We're going to move right into our labor history, and then we have our two guests in the studio. Joshua and Antwon are here to talk about the tremendous fast food worker, low-wage worker fight this last week.
Thanks, Diane. One of Latin America's most famous writers, Eduardo Galleano, died last Monday at the age of 74 in Montevideo, Uruguay. The Uruguayan novelist and journalist made headlines when Venezuelan President Hugo Chavez gave President Obama a copy of his classic work, The Open Veins of Latin America, 5 Centuries of the Pillage of a Continent. Since its publication in 1971, Open Veins has sold more than 1 million copies worldwide, despite being banned by the military governments in Chile, Argentina, and his native country of Uruguay. While in exile after the Uruguayan military junta seized power in a 1973 coup, Galleano began working on his classic trilogy, Memory of Fire, which rewrites 5 centuries of North and South American history. Describing his purpose for writing, Galleano said, "I write trying to recover our real memory, the memory of humankind, what I call the human rainbow, which is much more colorful and beautiful than the other one, the other rainbow. But the human rainbow had been mutilated by machismo, racism, militarism, and a lot of other isms, which have been terribly killing our greatness, our possible beauty." In a 2013 interview on Democracy Now!, Galleano talked about one of his many books, Children of the Days, a calendar of human history. For the date of July 1st, he said, in the year 2008, the government of the United States decided to erase Nelson Mandela's name from its list of dangerous terrorists. The most revered African in the world had featured on that sinister roll for 60 years. For the date of September 11th, Galleano said, "I would like to celebrate September 11th as a day against terrorism, and I would like to celebrate the day pasting posters against terrorism all around the world, posters saying, 'Wanted for kidnapping countries,' wanted for strangling wages and slashing jobs, wanted for raping the land, poisoning the water, and stealing the air, wanted for trafficking in fear. In 1998, he wrote Upside Down, and in it he dreamed of another possible world where people shall work for a living instead of living for work. In no country shall young men who refuse to go to war go to jail, rather only those who want to make war. Historians shall not believe that countries love to be invaded. Politicians shall not believe that the poor love to eat promises. The world shall wage war not on the poor, but rather on poverty, and the arms industry shall have no alternative but to declare bankruptcy. Food shall not be a commodity, nor shall communications be a business, because food and communication are human rights. Education shall not be the privilege of those who can pay. The police shall not be the curse of those who cannot pay. Justice and liberty, Siamese twins condemned to live apart, shall meet again and be reunited, back to back. A woman, a black woman, shall be president of Brazil, and another black woman shall be president of the United States. An Indian woman shall govern Guatemala, and another Peru. We shall be compatriots and contemporaries of all who have a yearning for justice and beauty, no matter where they were born or when they lived, because the borders of geography and time shall cease to exist. The writer John Berger said of Galleano, "To publish Eduardo Galleano is to publish the enemy of lies, indifference, above all of forgetfulness. Thanks to him, our crimes will be remembered. His tenderness is devastating, his truthfulness furious. Who is responsible for this forgetfulness? It is not a person," Galleano says. "It is a system of power that is always deciding in the name of humanity who deserves to be remembered and who deserves to be forgotten. We are much more than we are told. We are much more beautiful."
Thank you, Paul. I really want to encourage all of you who are listening to this program, if you have the opportunity, make the opportunity actually, to read Eduardo Galleano. He was a tremendous voice and inspiration. I want to thank Paul for this really terrific tribute to him. We're going to go to a few messages, and then we'll be right back with our two leaders of the movement of low-wage workers here in Atlanta. You've seen them on television, you've heard them on WRFG and other forms of media. We're going to be talking to Joshua and Antwon. Stay tuned. We're back. You are tuned into the Labor Forum here on WRFG 89.3 FM. I'm Diane Mathewitz. We've been joined by Tamika Atkins with the Domestic Workers Alliance, also a co-host here of this weekly program. And our two guests for the 4:15 to 4:30 segment are two really dynamic young leaders of the low-wage worker movement. Now, Antwon Brown has been on the program before. Antwon, hi.
How you doing?
He works at Long John Silver's, and you've been involved in this how many years now?
About two since they
Just
moved
about
up.
two, almost from the beginning. And then we have Joshua Collins. Hi, Joshua.
How you doing? How you doing?
Have you been on before?
Yeah, me and Antwon, we've been on together.
Oh,
Me and
okay.
somebody
Once
else,
before?
I've
All
been
right.
on twice.
You too? Twice?
Yeah, twice.
Well, yeah, you are almost ready to be co-host.
Yeah, I mean, come on, get me in.
All right, so if there's anybody on the planet who doesn't know what April 15th meant last week in terms of the fight of low-wage workers to achieve some economic justice, then I'm not sure where they've been. But I know where they haven't been. They haven't been listening to WRFG's Labor Forum.
Exactly.
Because we've been talking about it for weeks and weeks and weeks. So the two of you played a big role in the event last week here in Atlanta.
Yes, ma'am.
Does somebody want to just update anybody who doesn't know about it? What
Well,
happened?
April 15th was a national day for people around the world to come out and step up and voice their opinion on getting minimum wage raised to $15. Fast food workers, home care workers are joining us. We're trying to get other organizations of people, workers who basically are getting paid low wages and want to step up and speak out and go against these corporations.
Well, I think that was one of the things that was very noticeable. Besides the fact that all the fast food workers were wearing their red t-shirts, then you had the home health care workers and they had their t-shirts, and then you had other workers with another identifying t-shirt, so that you saw airport workers and adjunct professors and Walmart workers, and you just name all the people who actually formed probably the majority of the workforce.
And we don't want people to get confused to think that these workers have, of course they have their own organizations, but we come together to fight for the one cause.
And it's not just fast food workers or folks who making under minimum wages, and folks who making good money, $20, $30 an hour, so they feel the pain also. I mean, it affects everybody.
Right, so that was one of the other noticeable things. The Teamsters, for example, were there, and I saw banners from the communication workers and other organized, long-time organized workforces that have, through collective bargaining, achieved at least some level of a livable wage and have benefits. Could you two both talk just a little bit about what more than just the $15 an hour minimum wage increase are you all really fighting for? What are the other issues that are important?
A union. A union is very, very, very important, not just the 15, because we want to keep our 15. So I think a union is almost just more important than getting 15. So that's my top two, 15 and a union.
And people, and I want all workers to realize that, like, when we come out, a lot of people, they say, okay, y'all fighting for 15. Now, when we get that 15, how are we going to maintain that 15? How are we going to make sure that it's not going to be taken back from us? So we must remember that it's the union we're mainly fighting for, and in order to get the 15 and keep the 15, we must have that union.
It's a fight against poverty, because poverty shouldn't be a standard of life. It should be a choice. So by giving us $15 an hour, that would boost us up to middle class, everybody. Not just us, everybody. So if you're making $15 now, and we get $15 later on, you should get more. I mean,
Exactly.
it comes back around.
Yeah.
All right, so could you describe just a little bit again about what took place? You all assembled at Clark Atlanta University. I have to say one thing. I noticed that there was absolutely next to zero television coverage. And I was appalled and shocked and outraged that there was so little visual coverage. There was an article in the Constitution, there was some other media,
USA Today, and
but
I
a picture is really worth a lot. And if people had seen the vigor, the determination, the passion of this large assembly of people of all different ages and all different backgrounds, it would have been very impressive to them. So can you talk a little bit about what actually happened at the rally, and then when you went to the McDonald's and the Walmart?
Yeah, well, actually, the coverage. I speak on the coverage quick though. The coverage to me is basically just we got coverage last time, so for us to not get coverage this time, it basically means that media is working with them and not with us.
They pay their bills.
We not worried. Like, if we let that worry us, then that's gonna mess up the next big event that we have coming up. So we're not worried about coverage because people see us. People see me on the train. People see me in different places and say, oh, you've been on the news. And that's my opportunity to say, yeah, what did you see me do on the news? What did you hear? And whatever they miss, I fill in the blanks for them.
Every generation, I feel like, have a fight. You know what I'm saying? This is our fight. Minimum wage and equal rights. I mean, poverty got to go. This is the strongest country in the world. Why should anybody work for $7.25 an hour when you got McDonald's and Burger King paying folks overseas $17, $15, $18 an hour, and their economy, our economy, doing a lot better than theirs. So their excuse should go out the window.
Yeah, and but basically, the 415 was, to me, the most spectacular one that we've ever done because, I mean, we came together at Clark Atlanta, we rallied, and then we marched. And as we marched to McDonald's was the first stop, and it was just amazing to see how we can cut off traffic. That was step one. Traffic was like you couldn't even come up the street no more because we were moving. And once we got in McDonald's, you could see that the frustration on the managers' faces. We had people beating on the tables and on the counter, and we had a manager who came from the back and started grabbing hands to stop them from beating, and she had to be pulled back from her other manager. Like, it was just amazing that people standing on tables. And
what showed me through the fight was that the people is the people, and we stronger than corporations ever will be. And as soon as a whole, everybody realized that, man, we can take over and take everything back that we deserve. We're not asking for nothing that we ain't already working for, you know. We ask.
And even if you're scared to come out and fight, I've never been scared because I've been bold since day one. But for people who are scared, just visualize a plan, a master plan, and you being a part of something so major that you could just shut down and just shut down companies and corporations and stop money. Just imagine being a part of something like that. And like when we were in front of Walmart, I hate that we didn't get to go inside because I really wanted to go in.
And they locked the doors quick.
Yeah.
Quick.
You wasn't allowed.
We didn't even get in the parking lot.
You couldn't come in, but you was able to leave Walmart. But
Yeah.
we shut them down, and they felt, you know, pressure bust pipes, and they seen the pressure, and they pipes were busting. So,
and we must remember, like we had a young guy say one guy just say a derogatory comment towards the officer, and I had to let him know, like, let's not forget, we're not here for violence. We're causing enough trouble just being in front of this door. We don't have to hurt nobody, kill nobody to do this. Like, we in front of the door, we stopping money, traffic, people, babies, whoever. Like, we're not letting nobody in. So.
That's probably why they didn't want to show it. They didn't want to show the power and the strength.
Exactly.
Right?
So that's how we feel that they're against it.
I mean, it's okay, because I feel like you ain't got to show it on TV. I mean, we can show folks in the forest. I mean, we can show folks in the streets what we've been doing. They see what we're doing. So the media coverage don't even matter. You know what I mean? We got media coverage right here today. So it does.
And like me and Antwon, this my brother, man. Like, me and him, like, I love doing this with him. I wouldn't even do most of this without him because we came so far together doing this.
Well, I want to ask a question.
Mm-hmm.
Like, so what are some of the responses? Has it been a week yet? It's been about 4 or 5 days,
Yeah,
right?
about 4 or
So
5
what are
days.
some of the responses that you've been getting from folks in the community? So y'all were in the AUC, right?
Mm-hmm.
You marched over to some local areas close to the West End, some historically black neighborhoods. Like, what were some outcomes? What were some responses you saw coming from the community?
It goes both ways. You got folks who gonna go against it, not understanding what's really going on. Then you got folks who know what's going on, who's down with it, who they're afraid to step up and say things, but that's okay because I'm here. I'm gonna step up. I'm gonna say something.
Don't forget the people who know about. They know what's going on, but they're against it. Don't forget those people.
I mean,
Because
but
they're not lost. They know what's going on. They're just against it.
the response I'm getting is like, "Oh, y'all crazy, man. Y'all $15 an hour, man. You think you deserve to get $15 an hour?" Yes, I do.
Mm-hmm.
You know, because you have folks. I always say this. You have folks in the past telling folks who were standing up for their rights to, "Oh, I'm fine with sitting on the back of the bus. I'm fine with drinking from the whites only, blacks only water fountain." And as soon as we got our rights to do so, they were the first ones to sit in the front of that bus and first ones to run inside the restaurant and sit down and eat. So it doesn't matter to me what they think. I know what I think, what matters to me and my family members and my friends and my community. So
Exactly.
it doesn't matter what they say. I don't care.
Like when I get positive responses, like my mom was the first person to call me. So when I got that response, nothing else mattered. So
Family support is important in this kind of work. So, Antwon, you mentioned very briefly about pipes bursting in Walmart. Can you talk a little bit more about that for people who don't know that coincidence?
What, the pipe bursting?
Yeah.
I mean, the pressure is on, man, because they see that we're not stopping until we get $15 an hour. So what they want to do now is give us $9, $8, and think that the ones who make it $7.25, they'd be just happy and fine with that. But little do you know, if you make $15 an hour and you got paid once a week, that's $450. If you got paid twice a week, that's $900. So I can make it off $900 every 2 weeks. But what I can't make it off is $7.25. So if I get paid $7.25 once a week, I get paid $215. If I get paid every 2 weeks, I get $450. So that's nothing. But I definitely can make it off $15 an hour. So can you.
And let's not forget,
So that-
everybody doesn't want to live on government assistance.
Nah. So that's
Let's
what I
not
mean.
make government assistance like it's just the best thing, because it's not. We shouldn't be getting that. We should be getting proper wages to take care of our family stably without having to say, oh, I got to lean on the government.
And that's what we mean by busting pipes, because pressure bust pipes, and they feel the pain, they feel the pressure, so they're trying to stop us from getting 15 and think we just gonna sell it out for 9 to 10. No.
And some of these pipes also literally burst.
Yeah, they
right?
busting.
Coincidentally, they've closed down some Walmarts in the cities that had the most amount of workers come out and speak out, right, about the need for a living wage in a union, $15 in a union. That's not a coincidence. And again, like you said, that represents the pressure that workers are putting on them.
Wow, that 15 minutes flew by. We have to go ahead
wanna
with another
stay, Ms.
guest
Diane.
in. So yeah, we are going to try to figure out a way to have you in
Man, you
way
know,
more
we can
often.
come back. We need to co-host.
Yeah, you come once a week. Hey, I just
So just real quick, if listeners want to get in touch with the Fight for 15 organization, they want to, get on board, they just want more information, what's the website, Facebook, all those ways for people to get hold of y'all?
Definitely Twitter. I'm a Twitter Raise Up fast food guy. So Twitter is Raise Up ATL, Raise Up 15, Fight for 15, hashtag Fight for 15, Facebook ATL Raise Up, Josh for Justice. My name, his name.
you just call me on my phone and we just talk directly.
Directly. My email, collinsjoshua420-617 @yahoo.com.
Antwon Jamal Brown 212 at Gmail.
He forgot, but we good. Thank
Well,
you, Ms.
thank you
Diane.
so very much. I have to say, I was right. I couldn't get into the McDonald's because you had filled
Oh
it
man,
up.
everybody who was with me had to go on the inside.
So I was right at the window watching the people being so clear
Thank
that it
you.
was $15 and that we believe that we will win.
And this is a non-violent fight.
And y'all please stop supporting these local restaurants who don't support us, because they don't support y'all. So that's the last thing I want to say.
All right, thanks again. So folks, you've been listening to Antwon Brown and Joshua Collins, both of them young Atlanta leaders in the Fight for 15, and very clearly the leaders of the future here.
And we're
Thank
gonna
you so
take
much.
over the world, of course.